All right, hi everyone. I trust everyone is doing okay. So as discussed, I'm sending you this video with respect to your case study one, just to let you know my expectations. So I'm sharing my screen right now. And before we start, let us take the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the territories on which UCW and its campus are situated are traditional, ancestral, or unceded territories of the Musqueam, the Squamish, the Tsleil-Waututh nations. We thank them for having cared for this land since time immemorial, honor their graciousness to the students who seek knowledge here and treat their dedication to value the ongoing contributions of indigenous people and community. So I'm just going to take you through what my expectations are so you can maximize your grade when it comes to case study one. And if you've got any follow-up question, this doesn't stop you from asking me the question. However, I will appreciate if you ask your question in the class teams. So when I respond to it, everyone that has similar questions can also benefit from my response. So I've tried as much as possible not to send me anything individual, like individual message or email, because that kind of restrict others that have got the same question to benefit from my response. So please ensure that you use the class teams to send me any follow-up question you've got here, then I can respond to it. Now, let me take you through how this is going to be graded. And this grading rubrics was attached to your case study. So it's 100%, and the weight is 12.5. 50% goes to the subject matter, right? The key elements of the assignment are covered. And what is the assignment all about? Quality management. So I want to see you using every of the tool we mentioned in week 3 and week 4, right? In your analysis of this case study. Your content has to be comprehensive, accurate, and persuasive as well. So ensure that your calculations are correct and your analysis also is correct. Now, display an understanding of relevant theories. And this shows how you can use all those tools of quality to be able to analyze the question and provide answers. Now, major points are supported by specific reference. Ensure you reference. You can also, after you've used the tools we discussed in week 3 and week 4, also ensure that if you want to get more score, you are backing up all your analysis with external publications or external um, materials as well. Now, research is adequate and timely, and citation are academically valid. That is 50%. Now, 20% goes to organization. You can see here it says introduction provides sufficient background of the topic and previews of major points. Now, you are dealing with a question or a case study on quality management. You want to talk about quality management in your introduction. If we don't talk about introduction, if there are no conclusion, there's no grade for it. Right. So you want to start with focusing on these rubrics, talking about introduction. You can start from the broad topic of quality management, then following it down to quality management at ECL. Right. You want to talk about summary of what you understand by quality management and what your work is all about, what you are doing, what you want to achieve. Now, also structure is clear and easy to follow with proper headings. So this is how I want you to put your heading. I'm going to explain that later, but I want to ensure that when you are dealing with the questions itself, I know the question you are talking about. So I want the heading to be more like, okay, question one. Now, nature of customers complaint. Now, under that also, you can have 1.1 addressing the problem. So I know you're talking about question one in 1.0, 1.1 as well. So but I'll be more clear on that. Now, conclusion, your report must have a conclusion. Critical thinking must also be present. Right, logical pardon me. So logical argumentation, right, and reasoning. So concrete example as well and valid inference. Also, you're drawing inference also from your analysis. Now, this shouldn't be strange to you. Your style, APA, it's the APA goes for 30%, and that is your also includes the title. Your report must have a title page. Also, it must be properly formatted with separate page. Some of you submit report without page number, without table of content. Right. This is where you're going to have issue, right? Grades or score are going to be taken off from it if you don't have this proper page. Also, reference page is present, citations, proper citations as well. Then your grammar, your spelling is also checked, the readability, right? How your report flows, right? Including your chart. I want to see all your tables, all your charts in one single document. Don't attach any Excel file, or don't tell me you did your analysis on an Excel file. And why is that important? Now, one thing I want you to know is when submitting a report like this, I always tell my students, imagine you are not submitting to your professor. Imagine you're submitting to the board of directors within your organization. I'm going to change this. Board of directors in an organization. Right. They don't understand the tools you are using or the data you are using. So you want to be able to explain the tools you are using for each of your analysis and provide the data and the chart. If you submit this assignment like you are submitting to me, you might miss out some things that actually give you more grades. So I tell them, imagine you're submitting this report directly to the board of directors. They've told you to do an analysis on their quality management. You are more like a quality consultant. Now you want to submit the report to them. So most of the tools you're going to use, this check sheet, the Pareto chart, they don't know what it is. So you want to be able to explain it before using it, then bringing out your inference from that. So use chart, ensure you show your formulas and your data in one single report. Now, explain, analyze, and discuss result, which means explain the tool you are using. For example, if you're going to use your check sheet, explain exactly what a check sheet is and reference it. Then use that in your analysis and discuss the result. So here is how I want you to format it. Front page, which is your title page, your table of content, and your introduction. Now, introduction gives the reader background and the context to convey the importance of your research or your report. It begins by broadly introducing your topic, then you narrow it down to your focus research or the focus research. Now, talk about quality management and narrow it down to ECL. Right. So let's start with the first question. Now, I wanted to be this way. On your heading, question one, then you summarize what you are dealing with. For example, question one is asking what is the nature of the customer's complaint. So you want to put question one, right? So under that you have 1.0, right? And that is nature of customer's complaint, or you can use anything, any of those, anything that actually would make me understand you're dealing with this question. Now you also under question one, you have how do you address this problem? So you want to see how under that same question 1.1, addressing these problems or addressing the problem. Now discuss the framework you're using and the tool used to addressing quality problem. That is what the 1.1 is asking, and that is in your slide in week 3. We have the framework and tools used to address um, quality problem, right? You have that, so you are going to discuss that as well. Now question 2 is asking you how to prioritize, right, those problems. Now after question 1, a new page, question 2 2.0, prioritizing the problems or the problems reported, or whatever be the way you want to be able to um have a short form of the question. Now, under here, the tools you're going to use is check sheet, frequency histogram, and Pareto chart. Once again, what you want to do is to explain these tools before using it. Explain it, analyze it, and do analysis with it, and discuss your result. Explain the tool. Always have in mind that you're submitting to the board of directors that don't understand what these tools are. So explain what the tools are. Put some references as well with that, your histogram and your Pareto chart. Now, question 3 is asking about the system testing if it's in control, out of control. Remember, when you're dealing with this, you use a control chart. Now, look, just this as an example. Let's look at this. If I'm to answer this question, just look at this. Now, in order to determine if the system testing portrayed by Anselm is under control, a statistical process control, that is SPC2, called a control chart, will be employed or be used in this analysis. Now, SPC in the context of quality management or in manufacturing is you define what it is, you use a citation, then a control chart, right? You define what it is, right? This chart includes a UCL, which is the upper control limit and the lower control limit, and the average center line, all which have been developed from past data. Any point plot that lies beyond the control limit as to be interpreted as meaning that the process is out of control and needs attention, right? And any point within your threshold on the control limit means that the process is in control and need no further action. Now you can see you are defining control chart. So when they see your analysis, when they see the chart, they have the understanding of if it's out of control or within control. Now I expect you to use the mean and the range control chart in this analysis. Now the next one is then your assessment and your recommendation, right? That is, we'll go under 3.1 as well. Now, question 4 talks about latency and underproductivity. Now, how do you know if latency is the reason for underproductivity? You use a tool called linear regression. Again, you want to define, explain what that tool is, analyze and do analysis with it, and also provide your result. That is it. The recommendation. Also, if you know of any quality issue, what is the root cause? You want to check the root cause before making a recommendation. And what tool do you use? The fishbone, right? So also framework for improving quality, right? Will be on that recommendation. Then your conclusion next and your references, right? Now, students always ask, Professor, what is the word limit? Now, when it comes to operations management, I'm really not much interested in how long your report is, but how critical it is, right? So I'm looking for more of analysis, more of your chart, more of your explanation, more of your inference. But if you want something to guide you, I'm going to go from what past student has submitted that has done very good, right? And it's always around 3,000 or 3,500. That is the worst. However, that doesn't, I'm not looking at your word count. I'm looking at how you can use this tool, right, to do your analysis and be able to provide your result and your responses. That is all I'm looking at. So I believe this answers your questions and also highlights my expectation. Please, once again, like I mentioned to you, if you have any follow-up question, please send that in the team chat so I can respond to you. All right. I wish you guys all the best. Have a good time. Yeah. Bye.